Whoa, it's the Illusion reporting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth. I'm here in the Terra Cruiser. I'm driving to where I go on Monday nights to keep my head clear. And it's kind of a casual drive. So I thought I would answer a question because it was going around in my head. Varum, I hope I got his name right. Varum from Houston, Texas, asked me a really interesting question. He asked me if having a trade, i.e. a trade skill, and self-realization, if they basically complemented each other, and whether he thought that having a skill set was important, i.e. a trade. So, as a tradesman, I'm a carpenter right now. I didn't become a carpenter till I was 8-9 years ago, so my mid-30s. I spent the beginning of my adult life, doing the dance in college, and, killed a bunch of time in college. And then I kind of got one of my dreams going and chased that for a while. But I never had a trade to fall back on. So my advice basically is to pick up a trade, a skill set that involves your hands. And what I mean is this, is like, there will always be a need for someone who knows how to operate tools. No matter where I go on the world, I have a skill set that can always be applied. It might not be building mansions on the beach in Malibu. It might be, painting I don't really like to paint, but painting someplace in a third world country, or building a palapa, or getting on some weird project overseas involving concrete, or just being able to being familiar with machines in some sort of factory or something. Like, I know how to show up for work, man. I guess that's the most important skill set you can have. The most important trade you can have is to be punctual and be focused on the job at hand, no matter what it is. And I guess that ties in with self-realization and self-activation, is you have to be true to yourself, right? Like, it doesn't matter if you have a skill set if you don't show up for work on time. You could be the best carpenter in the world, but if you're not at the job site at 7 a.m. on the dot regularly and consistently, you're not going to be a worthy employee. But there's all sorts of trades out there. I mean, it's not just carpentry and building things. There's all sorts of useful things you can be that you don't have to spend your life being. It's a good idea. Like, some people are mechanically inclined, right? Like, go learn to be a mechanic. It doesn't mean you got to spend your life being a mechanic. It just means that you have a skill set that operates anywhere on the planet. Like, there's cars everywhere on the planet. So you can basically go anywhere on the planet and be of use and be able to, get a job or be of service to your fellow human being. Like, that's it. Like, I can go build a house for some impoverished person if I'm somewhere, or build a church, or whatever it is, because I have the skill set. It's not necessarily just about being able to feed myself. It's about being able to help out other people. So I believe that, having a skill set or a trade and self-realization and self-activation do go hand in hand, but one can exist without the other too. So, I mean, if you have a trade set and you're not using it for the betterment of the energy field, are you really using it for self-activation? Or if you're self-activating and you want to be a better self-active person, a skill set would really come in handy to be able to sustain the energy field. For me, I get burnt out in carpentry, but I also go have a skill set, so I'll go and try other jobs. Like, let's say in the last 5 years, you know, I've gone and done other jobs. I worked at a sober living for like a year. I worked at a drug rehab place for a while. I worked at a bunch of different places for a while. I do all sorts of random odd jobs just because I can, because I stick my fingers in all sorts of pies, right? But at the end of the day, if all's going wrong, I can just make a bunch of phone calls and go, hey, do you have any work for me as a carpenter? Like I have about, I would say 6 phone numbers in my phone that if everything gets really slow, I can call them up and be like, do you have any work for me? And I'll go like, look, because I'm a carpenter doesn't mean I won't go work for my buddy who's an electrician. I can go work for my bro who's a plumber. I can go work for all sorts of different tradesmen because it's like a grid, right? Part of the thing is like getting used to the grid of a trade. And look, man, if you get dialed in on a trade, you can join the union, man. Like, there's all sorts of union jobs out there. Like, that's the thing. Like, there was a point where I wanted to kind of go work on like a big industrial project, like building a hotel or something downtown as a carpenter, and join the union and get, what do they call it? Prevailing wage. You get paid pretty well if you're in the union, let me tell you. And go work on a big project. Not for any other reason than I just wanted to check it out, what it's like to work on a big project. You know, part of me wants to go and get a job overseas as a carpenter and go work on some huge project somewhere. I'd be fascinated to go like be part of like a carpenter at like a giant dam or something being built. Yeah, I'm not really into like damming up rivers, so to speak, but I think that that's a huge problem. But you get the drift I'm trying to say. It would have been super cool 100 years ago to go be a carpenter on the Golden Gate Bridge. I don't necessarily want to be the guy stringing wires or the guy in the caissons, but I'd love to be the guy cutting wood for forums or whatever somewhere on a job site, or making stuff for the you know, it's all being a working man among working men kind of thing. And that includes women too, man. I just think that having a skill set helps you have the time to relax and pursue the spiritual self, right? Because I know I have a skill set that is always applicable to the ability to generate food for my body. I can definitely pursue spiritual and artistic quests a little bit easier than if I was constantly scrambling to like find some weird job or had to go do some job that was basically something I didn't want to do. But I'm all into like trying other jobs, man. Like there's a part of me that I like, you know, escape the cubicle, but I'm a real good guy with like organization and stuff, dude. I could easily be like someone's personal assistant. Like, I wouldn't mind being a personal assistant to like some crazy movie producer or something like that. Like, it'd probably be pretty fun for a year or two, dude. Would I want to do it any longer than that? Probably not. Would I probably go back to being a carpenter? Most likely. But you know, it's like my thing right now, like, all right, my work got all slow. Like, today was like my last day as a carpenter, right? On this job till the next job starts up. So I'm like, calling all these skaters and stuff to try to set up interviews, because ultimately I want to have a podcast, but all I have is an iPhone. So I'm doing what I can with my iPhone. It's like, if you checked out the Lion Heron interview or any of my other interviews, they're basically podcasts that I'm doing with my iPhone and uploading through YouTube. But I'd be super stoked to have like a real podcast. But right, the thing is I have to go pursue these people. Like, I don't have a studio to call up, like, I don't know, some big skater and be like, hey man, why don't you show up in my studio and do my podcast? No, I'm like, I have to go earn it. So I got to go drive to wherever these dudes are, right? But because I have a skill set, it's like, I'm not worried about it that I might not be working for a couple weeks, right? I'm going to go chase down some skaters and stuff and try to get some interviews and try to pursue my dreams. You know, I'm going to go up to my wood shop and like not be a carpenter, but be a craftsman. You know, you got what I'm saying? Is because I'm familiar with my tools, it enables me to like branch out. I guess I feel comfortable on Spaceship Earth because I'm not in fear of where my next meal is going to come from. And that look, there's plenty of out of work carpenters, don't get me wrong, but like, because I have true faith in my God of my understanding, I'm not really that worried about it because I'm on a magical mystery tour, dude. Like, the hologram and I believe, right? And there's the part of the self-awareness and the self-activation and the belief in oneself tied into the spiritual principles. Like, I'm not running the show, man. God's running the show. God said, hey, here, let me give you a skill set. Let me be a carpenter. It came late in my life. And to wrap this up, I wish I had been a carpenter instead of going to college. How is that? Right? I look at it now and go, I'm pretty good at it as a carpenter. I wish I had been young as a carpenter and really gotten in on it, because I would have my own, like, I would be a contractor by now. I'd probably have my own company and have built my own house by now. That's another cool thing with having a trade, is my big ultimate dream is to build my own house, man. But I want to build it all trippy, dude. I don't want to build a square. I want to build like my own trippy fantasy, like, skatable house. And I have the skills to do it, right? Because I started not knowing anything about my trade. I mean, I knew what a tape measure was, but that's about it. So, yeah, man. Self-awareness and self-activation are all tied to having a trade. So, Varnum, I think I answered your question. Is, yeah, having a trade is a great tool to have in your life experience. Look, I have a bro who's son of a famous movie star, right? Well, his dad required that he went and worked, right? So he went and got his license as a massage therapist, right? So he's a licensed massage therapist, but he doesn't really like it that much. You know, it was just kind of a novelty thing for him, but he's got his license. So he decided to go work and be an electrician. So he's like an electrician now, but now he wants to go and pursue his acting career, right? But he's gone and pursued his acting career at different points and has used his trades to fall back on when he couldn't, like, break in at a certain time. Like, he was always able to, like, be like, all right, I want to be an actor, I'm giving it a shot, but, like, now I need to go generate some cash, so I'm going to go be a masseuse for a while. I'm going to go back to being an electrician. You know, because we get burnt out, man, doing like the same job day after day after day. We have to pursue our dreams. We have to pursue the creative impulse. I have to be able to go and pursue my art and this thing I do on YouTube. And my trade gives me the financial security to be able to go and kind of self-propel myself to a certain degree. Am I beyond worrying about things? Nah. But, you know, like, I'm free enough to be ripping down the road right now, making a YouTube video about having a trade, and it's a good idea. I think that's all I got. Anyway, hope the frequency is high. Hope all you tradesmen and women out there are pursuing your dreams on the side. And look, dude, as I said earlier in the video, the most important skill you can have is being punctual. Being punctual and showing up on time, you will get ahead in this life. Yeah. Anyways, Illusion out.